great. It is 23 minutes to 2. Are you a sailor, or have you ever been sailing? Have you experienced the wind in your face, the sounds of the birds, the water, looking out over the horizon? Tasmania is a great place to sail, and the group Sailors with Disabilities is back here running its Winds of Joy program next February. Winds of Joy aims to give children with disabilities and disadvantaged people the opportunity to enjoy the freedom, teamwork and adventure of sailing. But to do that, they need your help. Chrissy Matera has come into the studio to tell us how you can help and to talk a little bit about the program. Hi, Chrissy.
Hi, Sarah.
So let's start then. Sailing with a disability, Sailors with a Disability, the group. Tell us about that.
So it's a not-for-profit organisation, and we exist to create optimism for people who have disabilities, and those disabilities might range from sort of social and emotional learning difficulties all the way through to more profound disabilities like cerebral palsy. We have visually impaired people, we have amputees, we have an incredibly diverse range of people that come out and sail with us.
This idea of optimism, that's an interesting choice of words. We're sort of been throwing around words on your afternoon today, but how does optimism get sort of developed through sailing?
So a lot of these people that come out and sail with us feel quite constrained in their lives, and there's not a lot of optimism for them and their future. And so by actually taking them out, we're providing them with potentially a life-changing opportunity to do something that potentially that they wouldn't have been able to do without Sailors with Disabilities. And it provides an outlook for personal growth and just improved outcomes and general improvement in their health and well-being.
Is it something specifically about sailing, do you think? I know you're biased here because you're a great sailor, but what is it? Is it about being on the water in nature?
I actually feel that sailing is actually an extreme sport, and it's a really good way to push people's boundaries and provide them with opportunities that take them out of themselves and beyond themselves. So, for example, we might have a child that's got come from a foster family, and that child is out sailing with us, and he might just sit on the boat and just look at the water for an hour whilst we're out. And that child's actually connecting with this natural environment, and in that he's becoming really peaceful, and it's calming for them, and it's really rejuvenating and enlivening for them. There's something amazing too about seeing a young adult with cerebral palsy in their wheelchair on board the boat and actually lifting their face up to the wind, and just the absolute delight that they experience.
As you say, you describe it as an extreme sport, and it can be, and we're coming up to the Sydney to Hobart as well. Is that another factor? I mean, it is challenging. There is a degree of fear when you first start sailing.
Yeah, that's true, Sarah. And in actual fact, Kale, the boat that's coming down for the campaign in February next year, is actually completing the Sydney Hobart yacht race. So it's coming down with a mixed crew of able and disabled bodies, which is fantastic. And then it's staying in Hobart. I just missed the rest of your question.
Yeah, I was just saying, well, have you seen people conquer their fears? Because there's nowhere really to run to on a boat.
Yeah, we have, and quite often that will happen when we do the shore-based program. So if it's too windy in Hobart and we can't actually take the boat out because of safety considerations, we'll run an in-dock campaign. And one of the things that we do is we actually put the kids in a bosun's chair and we hoist them up the main. And you look up that main mast, you look up that mast, and it's a very, very, very long way up, and these kids, they just don't want to do it, and you just need one of them to initiate it, and it sets up a little bit of competition between them, and they conquer their fears, and they just want to go higher and higher and higher and have this amazing experience in the bosun's chair up at the top of the mast.
We'll talk about the program next year in Tasmania, but you've actually been part of the northern campaign for the group as well.
Yeah.
And where did you go with that?
So Sailors with Disability offers programs in Sydney, Melbourne and the Hobart one, but we also do what we call the Northern Outreach program over August, September, and in that campaign we leave Sydney and our first stop is Southport, which is on the Gold Coast, and we have schools from the hinterland around Southport come in, and we do a 4 or 5 day program there. And then we do what's called a delivery up to Roslyn Bay, which is a little bit further north, and run the program there, and then up to Mackay, and then up to Coffs Harbour, and then bring the boat back. So that provides the opportunity for children that are coming in from more regional and remote locations to have this really fantastic experience of sailing.
In those cases, have you come across children that haven't actually seen the ocean before?
I haven't, but there may be others that have, because I haven't actually done all of the individual campaigns. I've done deliveries between ports and some of the campaigns.
Now, you mentioned the boat Kale, so it's the same boat each time?
Yes, so Sailors with Disabilities has a number of boats and they have different functions, but Kale is actually a 54-foot Lions Grand Prix racing yacht, so she's up in the same league as a boat like Wild Oats.
Whoa.
Fantastic boat.
It's like going from ground zero to the top, isn't
it is.
Is it as streamlined? It wouldn't be as streamlined as Wild Oats inside, though.
Yeah, it's actually set up inside as a racing yacht, which means it's
wow.
basically got nothing inside it. It's got an area where you keep your sails. It's got a very, very small galley. It's got a small head, which is your toilet, and it's got bunks and a nav station. So very bare, and we're hoping that we might be able to get ABC Radio down onto the wharf in February next year when we're running the campaign to give people more of an idea of what it's like.
Oh, well, what an experience. 'Cause I remember going on Wild Oats once when it was down here. You were on the days when you could go in, and I was really taken aback at how streamlined and sort of empty it was down there. Mind you, I did hear at the time that the sailors, they didn't even have hot coffee. I think they were given chocolate coffee beans to eat.
Yeah, that might be the case under racing conditions. It's not quite that bad when we're in doing a program, yeah.
So, what sort of jobs are the sort of kids that take part in the program, or the people that are they allocated certain jobs, or do you sort of let them work out what they want to do?
We have to actually sort of assess the children and the young adults as to where they're at, because as I said, some just want to experience being there and they actually don't want to be overly engaged with. Others want to go on the helm or, be on the winch or help with other manoeuvres around the boat, and they're all given the opportunity to do what they can within their skill sets, if you like, and then pushed a little bit more to go a little bit further.
Do many stay on in the sport?
There's been a couple that have come out that have been really quite intuitive in the way that they've actually interacted with the boat, and I suspect some of them have, but we actually don't collect that sort of information. But we do have schools like the Southern Support School down here that's been coming for the 3 years that the program's been operating down in Hobart, so they do return.
This is Chrissy Matera from Sailors with Disabilities. Well, tell us about the program in February next year. And this is where you've put the call out for volunteers. You're a volunteer yourself, but you're looking for more volunteers.
Yeah, that's correct. So, Sarah, so in February next year, the campaign will be running out of the Derwent Sailing Squadron. It usually runs for a couple of weeks, and we're calling on people with an interest in sailing. They can have a variety of skills, so there's actually an active program to improve the skills of the volunteers as well as give the children a sailing experience. And so if anybody's interested in volunteering, they can jump onto the Sailors with Disabilities website and register their interest. I can leave some details here for you today. And they would be required to have a Working with Children check, and then they have to come and do a training program, which is usually a one-day program, just so we can actually see what their skills are, so they're familiar with the boat, and give them a really good briefing on what the expectations are as a volunteer crew.
So you could be listening anywhere around Tasmania, but you just need to make that commitment to be in Hobart in February for the program, and then also for the training course.
Yeah, and I should also say that just because you commit to the program, it doesn't mean all 2 weeks. So, you might be available for 2 sessions. So we have a morning session that usually goes from 9 till midday, and then an afternoon session from 1 till 3. And so you nominate which sessions that you can be available for, and you get to go out and sail on a Sydney Hobart yacht or do some really fun activities with the participants in the marina.
It runs from the 12th to the 26th of February next year. Where do you actually run the program from in Hobart?
So the boat's actually based at the Derwent Sailing Squadron down in Sandy Bay, and so the school groups actually get bussed in the morning or in the afternoon. They come out sailing with us for a couple of hours, or if the weather's not good, they do the in-dock program, and then they get bussed home in the afternoon. But the boat's there for the whole post-Sydney Hobart, and then after the program finishes at the end of February, we'll be sailing it back up to Sydney to continue its programs up there.
Okay, and you'll be part of that journey as well?
Yeah.
And you did tell me that that's always an experience in itself, sailing the boat over Bass Strait.
Yeah, it is. I did say to Sarah before we actually came on air that it's for those women out there who've had a baby, it's a little bit like having a baby. You think, I'm never ever going to do it again, but the sea air and the wind gets into your blood and you think, yep, this is great, I'm up for it again. It's a truly fantastic program, and it brings great opportunities for kids down here in Hobart.
What do you get out of it apart from sailing?
I learn a lot about myself and pushing my boundaries in terms of the sort of subconscious biases that I may have around disabilities. And
just what their capabilities on a boat.
Yeah, and it's remarkable. It's something I don't actually have the words for, how incredibly precious and wonderful it is to see a child just be absolutely enthusiastic and entering into this new world. I can't actually describe it. It's fantastic.
Oh, well, if there you are, if you're motivated by that and you would like to volunteer, you can go on to the Sailors with Disabilities website. They could just search that, couldn't they? That would be the easiest way to do it. Or call here 1300 222 936. We'll have some details as well. Register, and so you're looking for a range of experiences.
Yeah, a range of experiences. So you're sort of matched to your level. So, you know, your role on a boat, we have something that we call a swimmer. So that person's role is basically to stand at the stern of the boat, and if anybody goes overboard, they have to get in the water. That's their job. It's never happened, and we hope it never ever will. There might be other people that their job is to do the briefing, to bring us into dock, to take us out of dock, to put the fenders out, to do the communications video movies of the kids having a fantastic time, or to actually helm the boat or be on one of the winches looking after the sail. So lots and lots of jobs, and we do encourage the kids to become involved in all of those things too.
Well, that sounds great. Okay, great to see you, and I'm sure we'll touch base before the program then, and we'll keep an eye out for Kale in the Sydney to Hobart yacht race.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks, Sarah.
Chrissy Batera from Sailors with Disabilities. And once again, if you want to find out more information, give us a call 1300 222 936, or jump on the website Sailors with Disabilities. I know a lot of you do have various sailing skills out there, so if you'd like to be part of that program from the 12th to the 26th of February next year, the Winds of Joy program, which is a great name in itself, you could put your hand up, and as Chrissy said, you don't have to commit to those full 2 weeks, and there are 2 shifts a day. It is 10 minutes to 2.